Hi, my name is John.
And I'm Lloyd.
And we are the hosts of Pint of Comics, a podcast all about pop culture. Lloyd, what do we do sometimes on Pint of Comics that people might want to know about before they listen?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers and sometimes we swear like sailors.
So, if you're okay with that stuff, listen in and enjoy the show. Welcome to your 238th Pint of Comics. My name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And boy, oh fucking boy, today, April 23rd, 2022, marks our 5-year anniversary. April 23rd, 2017, the very first episode of Pint of Comics was released. And, you know, we weren't going to do anything for this, and I'm not a real self-congratulatory, whatever that fucking word is.
Self-congratulatory.
Yes, that's a tough one. That's a tongue twister. I'm not that guy, but I said, you know what? Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's throw it out there. Maybe say some thank yous at the end to some people that have helped us along the way. So yeah, 5 years. It's been 5 years, almost 250 episodes, a radio show, a podcast. It's been a great time. Let's get together and let's just play a fucking fun game. Right? Let's just celebrate a little bit as we do sometimes. Yeah, the game apps are fun. I got a game not too long ago. I will stress this. I asked them for a copy called The Shame of Life. They ignored me, so I bought a copy because it looked interesting to me. And I said, fuck it. Let's play it. Let's do this. We're live. Fuck it. Let's go. We got with us the law of Pint of Comics tonight, hanging out with us, Officer Mike. Mike, what's going on, man?
Not much. Excited. I didn't realize this was 5 years. It's a big heavy weight on the shoulders here. I better not fuck it up for 5 years.
Yeah, don't fuck this up, Mike. All right, don't fuck this up.
The worst show in 5 years.
No, trust me. No. We could stop now, and it wouldn't be the worst show in 5 years.
I remember that show.
Mm-hmm. What would you say that show was? Would you have an idea?
There are some ones where Sir John might have been a little too.
Imbibed a little bit too much?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I managed to edit some of that stuff out, like, you know, some of John's greatest hits. But yeah, no, episode 9.
Those are also some of the funnest.
Yeah. Episode 9 was, going back to episode 9, that was the episode that we had to do 3 times. That was right before Lloyd had ever even been on the show. But
I wasn't even there yet.
Me and John went to a friend's restaurant in Middletown, the Celtic Cavern, and we interviewed our buddy Bill, who owns that place. And when I got home and I went to edit it, I realized that one of the mics was never on. Then John and I got together and did an episode. And the episode, by the time the episode ended, John was so many beers deep that he was making no sense. He was angrily shitting on things. And as I listened back, I realized I can't release this. So then G.I. Gary, who we love, he went down to a G.I. Joe convention and got a interview with Rod Wiggum, who was a G.I. Joe artist on the Marvel series. And I said, that is the episode. So it's one of the few episodes that me and John are barely on. We introduce it, and then Gary takes over. And but yeah, episode 9. So not the worst episode by far. So no, Mike, you can't fuck it up any worse than that.
So what was the subject of the first one?
The old episodes were basically random pop culture talk, but I do remember the very first episode was John had just gotten back from GaryCon, which is the big gaming convention dedicated to Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons, out in Wisconsin, which John goes to every year, and he went to again just last month. And essentially, really, in probably what was a very poor choice for a first episode of the podcast, we talked about GaryCon for almost the entire hour or whatever. Which is extremely niche, you know, which I'm not, whatever. That's kind of,
and I listened to that whole episode. I did.
And I'm sure some people did. And I'm sure, but I mean, I guess it goes to show that even though I had been podcasting for a year and a half before that or so, on our original show From the Hip, with our buddy Vinny, I guess I really had no clue what I was doing, because it probably isn't a good idea to like base your pilot episode on a convention, if it was New York Comic Con or something, maybe. Gary Con is now.
If you had done New York Comic Con then, it still would have been.
It would have been more for sure. But yeah, Gary Con was definitely a fucking stretch, but it was a fun show. And then immediately after that, we kind of got our format going. So, all right, so let's play a fucking game. Let's play the Shame of Life. Here's how it works. Every card has an interesting debate or a dilemma question or something along those lines. Now, I bought the game a while ago, really kind of just looked at it very quickly. I told my wife today, Lindsay, go through the box, pick out a bunch of cards that you think are amusing, and we'll start working through those. Now, so remember, Pine of Comics fans, if this episode does suck, it's fucking Lindsay's fault because I haven't even looked at these cards yet.
Blame it on the wife.
It's the easiest thing to do, Lloyd. You know how that's true. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not just going to act as the judge this time. I'll interact too. I'll play. Maybe if there's a debate question, I'll let you two go, or we'll have fun with it. So let's flip the first card over and see what it says. Okay, debate. The oddest thing you did as a kid. The oddest thing you did as a kid. Maybe it was a habit you had. I'll go right off the bat. I could tell you right off the bat. When I was a kid, I saw I saw Abbott and Costello meet Dracula, Bela Lugosi Dracula, at probably about 7 years old. TV 38, channel PIX or whatever. Dracula scared me so fucking bad that I used to walk around my house and my neighborhood with my head sunk down so that my neck wasn't visible, so a vampire couldn't get me. Now listen, I do remember doing this to an extent, but about 10 or 15 years ago, as an adult, I remember I went with my wife over to my parents' house for dinner one night, and we were talking about weird shit. And my parents told me that I was so fucking I was so into that for a while that they considered taking me to a psychiatrist. So I don't remember it being a super big deal, but apparently maybe the better part of 6 months I spent avoiding showing my fucking
just hiding the neck.
Hiding my neck. So that's probably
mock turtlenecks and little Johnny.
And luckily, as it turned out, as I grew up, I don't have a neck, so I have bypassed all of that. So it all worked out for me. Manser, can you give me an example of something you did as a kid that was odd?
Oh boy, I have some odd stuff, and some of it I can't even say.
Well, you don't have to say it. You could say something that's not super odd.
All right, streaking in the woods, I guess. Yeah, streaking, going and running in the woods across my street, taking all my clothes off and just running around. Yeah.
And what was this when you were 27? I mean, what was
No, when I was a kid, 20. No, like 13, something like that.
All right.
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember the exact age, but yeah.
Was this something your parents had to be Lloyd, stop running around?
Hold on, maybe 13 is a little much. Maybe it was like 8th grade, whatever age that is.
That's 13. That's 13. Yeah. Wow. All right. Your parents ever have to be
I started high school in 13. So
put your pants on. What the fuck are you doing? Did they ever have to get that?
No, I don't think they ever caught me. I gathered some other kids and said, "Hey, let's go streaking."
Let's go streaking through the crowd.
Yeah. Nice. I was an instigator.
Everybody get naked.
All right, Mike.
Still doing that. Wow, that's weird.
So similar to yours. When I was young, I had this weird idea planted in my head somewhere, and wasn't. Later on, I found out it wasn't entirely wrong. That I had a terrible chin, and that I needed to do something about it. And for years, probably through middle school into high school, every time I stood somewhere, possibly that a picture would be taken, definitively when a picture would be taken, etc., I used to jut my chin out specifically to try to give myself more of a chin or a look. But I started doing it so much that I was doing it a little bit unconsciously. People would say, "What the hell are you doing in that photograph?" Or, I'd be somewhere in a gathering. I mean, who the hell? It wasn't. There were no great parties at that time. But somewhere in a party or whatever, and people would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, what? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean? And it was just fun.
Your chin looks pretty fine to me. And if I could, I would shave some of this guy off and give you some of mine. Because I was like the fucking opposite.
I
got too much chin over here.
You do have you do have, you know what, Lloyd, what you have,
and especially I shaved today so you could see it all.
Lloyd, you have good Batman chin though. Like I'm putting my hand over your face right now.
I could wear a towel, all right.
Yeah, Daredevil, Batman, you would pull that off very well.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's a little bit of weird stuff from our childhood. Let's get to the next one here. All right, discuss. You have to choose one cartoon character's clothing to wear for the rest of your life. Who do you choose? All right, Manster, you raised your hand. Who do you choose?
Roadrunner.
He's naked, so you're streaking like Roadrunner?
You're streaking.
There you go.
All right,
that's fair. Officer Mike, who do you got?
I would think it's somebody comfortable, but I would probably say Fred from Scooby-Doo. Get a little ascot going on. So and it's it's kind of casual. It's good in good situations.
Yeah.
Classic look, sort of. But
and plus, if you felt like doing something with your chin, you could tie the ascot around it.
That's right. Or
Bring
if a
it
vampire came.
Or pull it up. All right. Yeah. Okay.
See, I had one picked out for Officer Mike.
Who did you have?
I had Yosemite Sam.
Just
carry around 6 guns. Well, if I moved to Texas, I could do it for sure.
Yeah.
There you go. Go to Texas. You can wear the Yosemite Sam outfit. All right. For me, I would go, like Mike said, comfort's important. I would go Homer Simpson because I think he looks comfortable and it would fit.
Ooh.
It looks like, what is it? It's blue pants and a white shirt. So I could dig that. I wouldn't want to be stuck in, like Elmer Fudd in the Valkyrie uniform or some shit. So I think I would go with that one. All right.
He even had that one episode with the Moo.
Yeah. Yes.
Real comfort there. Ultimate comfort.
Super comfort. Ooh, okay. Well, it says your, but I'll make it other people's. What noise would you choose to replace the sound of queefs?
Oh.
So we got dark there. So a queef is usually associated with sex. So you want something that's going to not really ruin the mood. You're pumping in and out. All of a sudden, that happens. That doesn't ruin the mood because I guess there's a little bit of pride there. Like I did that, but you don't want to make it like you don't want to make it something that's too goofy. So I think for me personally, if I had to replace the sound a queef makes, I would go with like a fucking like a jaguar growl. Like I'm pounding, and then like all of a sudden, like I pull out and you just hear right? Because it would feel like you were taming the beast, and now the beast wants more. Mike, I'm gonna go to you. What sound would you want to replace the sound of queefs with?
So see, I would just go funny. I know you got to be like you said, you're pounding, you're getting there serious, but I would go funny. I would maybe do like a Mario 1-up sound or something.
Oh, okay, all right.
Just something to break it, or maybe like Zelda when you figure out a secret. Da-da-da-da.
Okay, all right. So
I finished. Dun, 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 dun.
So a Nintendo Entertainment System noise comes out of the vaginas that Mike's working.
Mario.
There you go, and it would leave a smile on your face every time.
It certainly would. Manster, what do you got?
First of all, let me be honest. I wouldn't replace that sound for anything.
No, okay.
No way. That sound is perfect.
You're just like, yeah.
Well, Lloyd.
But if you're gonna call me out, all right. Applause. Just yay!
Hey, there you go.
All right. Hoo, the dog pound from Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the next card. Covering a lot of areas: childhood, queefs, clothing. You know how it goes. All right. Here's a good one. discuss the last movie you would want to be trapped inside of. So
shit.
you get plummeted into a movie universe. What's the last film you would want to be in? I'll tell you right now. Actually, it was Larry that brought the movie in my life, but Officer Mike was there for the recording. I'm going for the Greasy Strangler.
I knew it.
I'm going Greasy Strangler.
That would be the worst for you.
It's just it's so close to a reality, right? Like there are pockets of our country where the people from the Greasy Strangler exist. I don't want to be a part of any of that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and find the Greasy Strangler episode, or better yet, watch the Greasy Strangler. We've talked about it before, not at great length, but I'm a retail manager in my real life. I deal with the weirdest people on fucking planet Earth. And so like I live in that life a little bit as it is. I deal with people that every day make my imagination go wild with like, what's this person's world like? But I think the Greasy Strangler world is almost like everybody of that level is just in that world, right down to the hot dog guy who gets his eyes poked out, the whole thing. So I don't want to be stuck in the Greasy Strangler. Manster, what movie do you want to avoid being stuck in?
I would not want to be stuck in the movie Descent.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh fuck.
No,
yeah.
fuck the hell out of that. No way. Nope.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Fucking darkness, caves, claustrophobia, like tight little things that you got to squeeze through.
Okay, so that was the question I was going to ask you, is because to me that movie is just as scary before they run into the creatures, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I watched it with a friend, and they were like Lloyd said, right when they start getting stuck and they have to pull themselves through, and they were like, "Fuck, I would be done." You know,
Yeah.
forget even a fucking monster. Like I'm not crawling through a crack.
I'm extremely claustrophobic, and a few weeks ago, somehow on my YouTube rabbit hole, I ended up watching a couple of videos of guys that do that. And there was one point where the guy, you know, is a very well-shaped guy, like Manster, thin, you know, he was inch by inch on his stomach crawling through a space that couldn't have been more than 1.5 feet tall. And he had a camera in front of him somehow, and he had a camera on the side of him he was holding out, and he's just slowly moving. And it made me want to fucking throw up. I had to turn my head. I had to turn my fucking head. So I totally get that. I get that, Manster. All right, Mike, what movie do you not want to be trapped inside of?
So I'm going to be similar to you, something like realistic, like Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Where everything in your life just gets shittier and shittier and shittier, and you're just stuck in it, and you can never get better. That's that would be, you know, because I'm thinking, you know, horror and all this other stuff, but that would be the real, you know, pain to just be stuck.
Yeah, some people are stuck in that now.
I know, and it's just the worst.
Now, does your version of that world end in Jennifer Connelly ass to ass, or no? Because that might be the only tolerable part of that whole idea.
Well, probably that would end up being me and Jennifer Connelly, but you know.
Okay. All right. Hey, it's something to root for, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
All right. The Shame of Life. If you want to get this game, if you're interested, and again, like every game we play, there's actual gameplay rules to this. You're supposed to collect cards and people vote on who had best whatever. We're not doing that. We're just playing the cards along. Go to theshameoflife.com. They have a couple of expansion packs. They have some good stuff there. So check it out.
Hey, Shame of Life guys, we bought it. Why don't you send us some free ones now?
Yeah, really. Fucking A. I spent the money on this. All right. Oh, this is a debate. Out of the three of us, which one of our lives would make the best video game? Boing. I know mine isn't the answer. Mine's not the answer. So I'm immediately just dismissing me. You know, Mike, we're friends, but Mike's mysterious. I don't know a whole lot about what goes on in his days. I don't know what goes on in his days.
I don't know that mine would.
I'm going to go Manster.
You know what's funny, though, is yours, you know, because I did that myself for 20 plus years. There's a lot of games like that, like Take My Papers, Please, etc., that are that kind of.
Yeah, I think
like,
the retail life.
The rote, you know, day in, day out. going back in, how are you going to handle it, that sort of stuff.
So you're almost saying my life would be the best like Sims type game, like a simulation. Yeah. Okay, all right.
I mean, mine, doing management and customer service and et cetera, it's boring as sin. I mean, what are you going to do with that?
Well, I mean, there is a balance, because we all have work lives and then we all have home lives. So, shit, I mean, nobody's work life is any good. Mine's probably the worst out of all your guys' work lives. John's is probably more interesting.
I think you'd be the best video game, Lloyd, because the leveling up would be awesome in yours. Like you started off.
You almost got me drinking tea.
You started off in your early days, a high school swimmer, and we could play. There's like some swimming games, and then you go to college, and then there's a whole level where we discover like Cure albums, and like we every David Bowie album we listen to, we get up the level, and then we get married and have kids, and then there's that period of time, and we become a husband and a father, and then the game gets.
Thanks for turning my life into the game of life.
I think it is, and then
it could be like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, plus then you go work out on the side, a couple extra missions, go kill a couple of dudes,
the hookers and all that stuff, $200, over.
Yes,
and then much like real life, as we've discussed many times in the show, like some chaos and strife. Suddenly you're a divorced guy, and now when most people think the game would be at the worst point, now you're a single guy. Good looking, and you're out there. I'm playing that game. And
thank you. That's very flattering. Thank you.
And I want to add that when I'm playing that game, and when it eventually becomes like a sex simulation, I want Mike's idea. I want Mike's idea in the game. So every time a queef happens, I want to hear like. Bump, boink. I want to hear that. Yeah. All right. So I think Lloyd's the answer for that one. If mine
was a game, it would be a Wii game, and it'd just be you shaking it like this.
The Wii remote.
All right. Discuss. All right. This is a good one. The first movie that gave you those strange feelings. All right, well, I'll start. I'll go first. I won't say that it gave me strange feelings, but the first movie that I ever saw where I had a crush on a woman in the movie, and she was my first celebrity crush ever, was Michelle Pfeiffer in Grease 2. Grease 2 was on HBO every day when I was a kid. I watched it hundreds of times. And Michelle Pfeiffer as Stephanie. And I haven't seen this movie in years. I remember her name was Stephanie. She's like the leader of the Pink Ladies. She is just, she's just at her. She's just so hot in that movie.
She had that one song and dance that was so terrible.
Yeah, but still.
I just recently watched it.
Let's Bowl, probably. Let's Bowl or one of those.
Something like that.
But if I had to go with the movie that maybe the first time I started to notice like sexy feelings. All right, I'll tell you, it didn't give me strange feelings, but it might have been the first movie where I ever really saw a sex scene in, and I went, what the fuck's going on here? I was 9, I think. My dad took me to see Terminator. Linda Hamilton pumps on Michael Biehn. In the hotel room. Yeah, so I might have seen that and gone, what's happening here? What's going on here, guys? All right, interesting. All right, Manster, what do you got? What was the first movie? Now, for you, it's probably a black and white, or was it a talkie?
No, see, I'm trying to. The funny thing is back then, a lot of the movies were rapey and killy.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of movies like Angie Dickinson. What the?
Oh, Dress to Kill.
Dress to Kill.
Oh yeah,
and Looking for Mr. Goodbar. Those are the things that pop into my head that I saw as a child.
Well, I mean, the beginning of Dress to Kill when she's showering is like,
for sure.
You probably looked around. I mean,
that kind of stuff.
Like that's one of those things when you're young and you're with your family and you're like, damn it, like
I hate those.
Mike, what do you got?
So. I would agree, Linda Hamilton, the Terminator one. I would also say Kate Capshaw in Temple of Doom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't, in Raiders, she wasn't, hot.
Agree. Karen Allen's very cute, but yeah.
I mean, and hey, if I met her then, in reality, it probably, whatever. But to go to Lloyd's point, and I was watching... I don't know how the fuck this happened, but I ended up watching Psycho 3 with my father. And there's a bunch of sex scenes in that one. Yeah. But it always ends with fucking Norman knifing people. And there's like sex jokes. And I just remember I was really weirded out. My dad was like laughing at the sex jokes. And I was like, this is kind of hot, but this is really weird. And I'm just going to stare straight forward.
Was that Meg or Jennifer?
Meg was in 2. Meg was in 2.
Meg was in 2. Right. 3 is just kind of dumb. It's just a slasher. Right. But I remember in the beginning, dude's trying to fuck this girl, and then she runs away. And I just remember him yelling, "You could be coming right now instead of going."
Oh,
and I kind of started laughing, and my dad started laughing, and I was all weirded out.
Yeah,
right. I got one more I thought of.
Yeah, what do you got?
Adrienne Barbeau and Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's that scene where she gets killed at the end, or mortally wounded, and he takes off his little fucking his swamp muck, and he rubs it on her titty. I remember seeing that and going, I don't know why, but I feel interested in this.
Yeah, something's moving.
I remember the girl in getting undressed in Crocodile Dundee too.
Oh, she had the thong right up her ass.
She had a thong right up her ass, and she was getting dressed, and you're just kind of like watching it.
That might have also been the first time I ever saw a thong in my life. That was 1986. Thongs didn't become popular until later. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. What was her name?
Linda Kowalski?
Yeah, she married him, then divorced him. And okay, interesting. All right, here we go. Here's another one. Describe Lindsay. This is Lindsay. My wife picked these, by the way.
All right.
Describe, if getting an erection made a sound, what sound would you want it to make? What sound would you want it to make?
We're all going to pick the same sound, I think. The classic cartoon boing.
Yeah, that comes to my mind first, but if I want to go with something I think would be more interesting, I'm going to go with the sound of a shotgun cocking. I'm going to go, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
I'm going to go with a shotgun being racked. Like, it's like, I'm going with that.
I'm ready, ladies.
Yeah, it's locked and loaded, bitches. Mike, what do you got? What sound would you want if a sound could come out of your penis during that time?
I was thinking that I would like the kind of build up and then roar of a rocket taking off.
Yeah. Okay.
Just kind of a rumble, bass rumble, and a roar. Just.
Do you want a countdown too, like NASA? 10.
Somebody in the back? No. I don't need that pressure. I got enough of that problems on my own. Yeah. just the bass rumble and the roar. There it is.
All right, Manster, you going with the boing, or you got?
I'll just stick with the boing. Yeah.
All right. I would not be ashamed of the boing. I would actually be happy with that. I would be happy with that. All right. I don't know how that one keeps coming up.
As a matter of fact, the next time I have that happen, I'm going to make that sound effect.
There you go.
You have to do that, like unzipping the pants, just boing.
Yep.
When it comes out.
This is my wife picking these cards. Not all these cards are like this, but here's another one. Discuss. If you could train your anus to say one thing, what would it be?
Say one thing.
Just say one thing.
Say one thing.
Let's see. Thank you.
Thank you?
Sure, thank you.
I don't know what it's thanking someone for, but I like the idea.
Exactly.
Let's see. Yeah, I can go with the obvious. I mean, it's not like a gay joke, but I could say like, this is an exit only.
Yeah, of course.
Because for me personally, that's how I. No entrance.
Hey.
Hey.
Just whoa, hey.
Whoa, hey. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go with that. Whoa, hey. What do you got, Mike? You got anything good?
I would teach it some encouragement. So I'm like, you could go deeper. Go all the
way. Encouragement. That's nice.
Yes, encouragement.
Thank you.
For what's happening?
Whoa, hey. Thank you, and then encouragement.
Hey, why don't you make my kidneys shiver?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
All the way down.
all the way down. Move my kidneys while you're in there. All right. What other bodily function has Lindsay picked for us? Oh, okay. This is a good one. This is it says debate, but we're not debating each other. The worst character or public figure to have to watch try to seduce someone.
Oh.
The worst character or public figure to have to watch try to seduce someone. I'm going to go. You know who I'm going to go with? Because there's some people that are gross, and then there's some people that are just like non-sexual entities, right? So it says worst character. I'm picking Pee Wee Herman. I can't wrap my head around Pee Wee Herman being like, you want to fuck? Like, I can't see it. I know Paul Rubens got in the trouble for jerking off in the theater and all that stuff. He's a real person. But as a character, I would be very awkward to be around Pee Wee Herman as he's like, I could try 3 fingers this time. Like, it would be incredibly awkward. Master, do you have someone on the top of your head?
Yeah, someone I actually truly respect, and I would not want to see this is Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's good.
Oof. Yeah.
Fred Rogers. He's the man, and I wouldn't want to see him do that.
Mr. Rogers is one of those people that I'm always nervous we're going to find something out. You know what I mean? Like, we can't.
Late.
No, it's not too late. Like, legacies can still be brought down, and like, I can't remember. Like, I go on Twitter once in a while. I never see Mr. Rogers trending. But if I did, I'd be like, fuck, they found out he had a body full of fucking a freezer full of bodies or something.
Pure as the driven snow.
All right. Pee Wee and Mr. Rogers. Mike, who would you not want to see try to seduce someone?
I'm going to, there's a couple of ideas of people I've known throughout the years, but I would say like, I had, I think she was like a 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Mosley, who was just classic teacher with the beads around the glasses, and always she had a huge ass and had this big billowing skirts and was mean as shit to everybody. And she's so indelible in my mind. I just can't imagine her like leaning back and tell stick it in or just ruin my child.
You get that giant skirt off that giant ass and you start to move towards it, and then all of a sudden you hear, whoa, 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 hey. All right. What was that, Mrs. Mosley, you said?
Mrs. Mosley.
She's
long past with us, but
imagine Mrs. Mosley and Mr. Rogers together.
That's right.
Oh, and Pee Wee in the middle. Pee Wee is the fucking...
Hey, guys.
All right, discuss. Which movie would you use to describe your adolescence? Which movie would you use to describe your adolescence? I'll start with myself. I would say that my adolescence, I grew up in Middletown, Connecticut. I grew up in Carabetta apartments, which isn't an apartment building, but it's more like condos. So I grew up where I had a pretty close-knit pack of friends, right? That like we played every day from sundown to sunup in the summer, and we did all this great stuff together. So I would say that my adolescence was kind of like a shitty version of the Goonies. Whereas what I mean by that is that I had a couple Asian friends. I had all these, I had all these characters from the Goonies friends, a diverse group. Right? A diverse group. But we didn't do anything like the Goonies. We never found a pirate ship. We were never kidnapped by Italian gangsters. None of us made friends with a giant, a giant guy like Sloth with a fucking cone-shaped head. So I would say but we did do a lot of fun stuff. We rode bikes everywhere, which a lot of kids do. But I was lucky in the fact that, like, literally when I was a kid, I grew up with like 10 or 12 kids that like I got to be around every day, and I'm still friendly with quite a few of them. But yeah, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say the shitty Goonies, where we didn't do anything super fun like that. Mike, what was your adolescence? What movie would you say?
I would say kind of for the aesthetic. And I never, again, nothing exciting, but the aesthetic of I guess just the future. Back to the first Back to the Future.
Okay.
Because that '80s aesthetic was what was happening at the time. As far as, but of course, obviously, nothing. Never went back in time. Nothing great. I don't know. I had a little feeling too of Stand By Me. Had a tight knit group of friends.
We found a body.
We never found a body. Although we found not a human body, but we found bodies.
Yeah.
But kind of doing a lot of hiking, a lot of time riding bikes, and doing stuff, and just kind of talking through our lives. And each of us had obviously not the 50s, but had assorted things. Somebody had shittier lives, somebody had better lives. I distinctly knew somebody who had that. The older brother wasn't dead, but the older brother was super popular. And this kid I knew, like, his life was fucked because his older brother was so popular. Yeah. And literally his parents treated him like shit. And everybody that approached him was like, "Hey, what's your brother doing?" And it had fucked with him.
Right.
Hard. So
Yeah, I can see that.
aesthetic, Back to the Future, the kind of group idea of just hanging and each of us having our things, kind of more Stand By Me.
All right. Master, what do you got?
Yeah, I was going to go with one of those choices as well. I grew up in a lot of places. I didn't stay very much in any one town. I moved about 9 times by the time I was 13 years old.
Wow.
So all my...
This is because you were streaking everywhere.
yeah. No, my dad kept getting jobs in different places, so we just kept having to move. And so, yeah, Stand By Me is one that definitely comes to mind, especially with going in the woods and riding bikes and hiking and going on train tracks and stuff like that, because I live near train tracks. I busted my lip open on train tracks once. So Stand By Me, although I didn't see any dead bodies other than, dead animals, but definitely Stand By Me. And then a little bit of Sandlot too. We definitely had, groups of kids that would, play kickball and baseball and stuff like that, and, hang out in the street and play like that. So yeah, a little bit of those two, Sandlot and Stand By Me.
All right. That was a good one. That was a little bit more of a palate cleanser, a serious question. Now I got the last question in my hand, and it definitely, we don't have to rename queefs. We don't have to talk about our assholes, but this is a fun one. Dilemma. All right. This is a dilemma question. Beat up 66-year-olds or 60-year-olds. So you've got to get into a fight with either 66-year-olds,
like the horses and the chicken thing,
or 60-year-olds. Officer Mike, who do you stand a better chance at defeating?
So this is all at once. This is like a mob.
You're fighting a mob, 6 or 60.
I would go 60. I think I'd have more of a chance, unless one of them's, Kung Fu master. But also, I would have no qualms of going at it. I don't know how strident I would be in trying to take out 6-year-olds.
Right. Right.
I get it. I get it. Children of the Corn style. Like, there are certain ones that are terrible, and you need to do it sometimes. But I think 60-year-olds, I think I wouldn't have any qualms. Hey, it's me or you. I'm going to take you out, and I'm not going to worry about it.
You're elbowing hips. You're fucking.
Yeah,
you're
I'm breaking hips like it's my job.
Okay. So yeah, this is a tough one. I feel like the 66-year-old, 6-year-olds isn't that young, right? Like let's think about 6 years old. You're not a toddler. You have your faculties. Now let's say these aren't kids like Jalen, like Larry's daughter, who's a black belt. I know she's not 6, but she's been practicing for years, so she was proficient then too. Let's say these are just 60 run-of-the-mill fucking 6-year-olds. And if you didn't have the qualms about hurting them, it would probably be more of a case of taking them on from all sides and just throwing them one after another as far away from you as you can. But eventually, they're going to fucking get you. They're going to overpower you. I don't think you can. 60 is too much. If it was 10, I would take 10 of those fuckers on. I would pick one of them up and use him as a weapon against the others. I don't think I'd be swinging him by his ankles and cracking his skull into his kid's skull, his buddy's skulls. I'm going to have to go with Mike. I'm going to go with the 60-year-olds. Now, by saying that, let's remember the 60-year-olds, like Manster
I'm almost 60.
Is almost 60. So, I think this is like, this question is fucking with your perception of like, a 60-year-old is like, 60 is still, still a pretty strong guy. My dad
5 years from now, I don't know about my back.
Well, yeah, but like my dad is 81, and up until maybe 2-3 years ago, I'd be afraid to take a hit from the fucking guy. I still wouldn't relish it. So I'm going to go with the 60-year-olds just based on the fact that it's a lower number. I can probably keep them back more, and there's a better chance that 1 or 2 of them are easy wins, and I might only have to fight 4 off that are like fucking Vietnam vets or something, or whatever. Manster, who do you got?
Boy, I've got, my brain. I'm trying to analyze the hell out of this. So first of all, I can have no compunction at all about what I'm doing, how I'm hurting these people. Because otherwise, forget it. I'm not taking 6-year-olds. But if it doesn't matter, if I don't care that
it's you or them. It's you or them.
So now I have to consider 60-year-olds. They might all be in good shape. They're smart. They're going to figure out a way to take me down.
We're in America. They're not in good shape. Not all.
With my luck. But the 6-year-olds, look, you can pick up a 6-year-old and you could just fucking swing him around in a circle. None of those other 6-year-olds are going to get near you. So plus you could just kick them all and just fucking get them away from you.
60, dude. I don't think you're thinking 60.
Yeah, they're going to swarm you.
I know.
It's a swarm.
That's what I'm thinking about. Because eventually they're going to get your legs. Eventually you're going to have like a dozen kids holding both of your legs, and then you can't do too much.
And you're going to have a cold at the end of all of this. Like
you're going to have
100%.
Right. You're going to walk out of there with fucking snotty nose and 102 degree fever.
This fight is taking place in a Chuck E. Cheese, so
and your balls are going to be hurting quite a bit because they're going to be going after them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to need to ice them down.
So what's your final answer? Who are you fighting off?
I can't even come up with an answer. I think by the time I was able to take care of 60 of those kids, my back is going to be killing me. And I'm probably not going to be able to do it anymore.
So you're going with the 60-year-olds,
and there's no weapons, right? It's just your bare hands.
Oh, bare hands. This is just if you want to intimidate them,
shoes off and throw them at them or something.
Take your shoes off. You could take your shirt off to show them the fucking toned Manster body.
That's right. I'll take my shirt off. I'll show them my pecs. I'll be able to get at least 3 of them down by myself, no problem. So then maybe I'm just dealing with 3 others. And maybe I'm faster than. All right, you convinced me because I thought I was going to go with the 6-year-olds, but I'll go with the 60-year-olds.
You could pull Jackie Chan, grab a ladder, do some things.
Yeah.
I could do cartwheels.
That was the Shame of Life. We'll play it again some other time. There's still plenty more cards, but I thought that was fun. That was a fun little exercise. We know a little bit more about each other. We know our preferred queef sounds now.
We know about our anuses.
We know more about our anuses. We know more about our childhoods. That was all good. All right, Manster, do you have any going out? I have some people I want to say thanks to before we end this episode.
Oh, you should have asked me this before.
I didn't think about this before. I have a lot of people listed. So
first of all, I want to thank all of our listeners. Anybody out there who has given us a chance, a listen, a download, people at my work who I have convinced to give us a listen. I really appreciate that they do that. I give them some swag every now and then. Anybody who downloads it, the guys from the Countdown, I want to thank them for letting us on their show because I think they're amazing. And There's just all of our listeners, man. Thank you guys. And everybody who filled in for me while I was out during my divorce time. I want to thank all those guys, Joe and Stu and Larry and Mike and Laura and anybody else that I have forgotten, thank you guys all for filling in for me.
All right, and thank you, Manster, for being part of this when things kind of fell apart with John, and you jumped in a long time ago, and I really appreciate it. I always appreciate it, Mike. You're always appreciated. We love you, man. One of the best parts about doing this whole thing, I wanted to kind of put this out there, was that it introduced us to a whole ton of new people. I know so many more people and have more friends than I did before. Partially through the podcast and partially because before I only had one friend, and he doesn't talk to me anymore. So that has been great. So I want to just throw out there, I've got a bunch of names here. First things first, I want to thank everybody that's ever listened, as Lloyd said. So I'm going to cover everybody there because I am bound to miss people by name, but there's just some people I want to throw out there as well. Sir John, we started the show together. Chris Frodell. I love Chris. He's been a part of what we call the Six Pack for many years. G.I. Gary and Lou. Love those guys. Stu and Joe Doherty, who filled in for Manster quite a bit, and are both really good friends, and I appreciate both of them very much. Podcast wise, I just want to thank a bunch of different podcasts that we have been friendly with. So Wizard, Andrew from the Nomcast, the Mikes from Forgotten Cinema, those goofy bastards over at the Insufferable Bastards, Carlos and Brian. Guys. I love those guys. The Ocho Duro Parlay, fantastic show, and they're incredibly supportive on Twitter. The Contrarians, great guys. Media Mosh, our buddy Shane. Rock Candy, just
oh my god, Rock Candy,
awesome friends. The podcast has gone the way of the way, but Ashley and Maggie will be our friends forever. Joe and Sean from the Horror Show, Keith from Geek Time Network, and as Lloyd mentioned, the Countdown, Paul and Wayne, just incredible guys from the other side of the world. Real quick, a couple people by name I wanted to throw out there. Isaac Thorne, incredible horror writer who has been listening to us from the beginning. He's like one of the first people that literally was like retweeting our stuff and like seemed to like us, and made me realize that like people other than like us and like my wife and like friends listen. That always gets me. It's amazing. My buddy Lonnie Chant, who I went to high school with, who designed our superhero pint logo, and has just been a great friend of mine for most of my life. Everyone at BoomTube Comics, who we love. Everyone at CT Cult Classics, which includes Mike, and CT Horror Fest, Horror News Network, the great guys over at Robert Barron's Inc. I have to throw a big one out there for Larry Dwyer, who has, I met at a random Friday the 13th 2 and 3 showing that Mike fucked up the audio on and played part 3 in Spanish. And, and we've become great friends. And through Larry, we've had a lot of content and a lot of friendship, and got to meet a lot of great people. All the Pint Insiders, everybody that is on the Patreon who are the Pint Insiders, go to patreon.com/thepint, and the family over at wesufm.org, the radio station where you can hear Pint and Comics every Sunday night at 6:30. I am 7:30, 6:30. Pardon me, 6:30. I haven't been on in a long time, but John is holding it down over there. It's important just to mention, again, I don't want this to sound like it's our 5-year anniversary, so we don't usually get like this, but this gives me something to do, especially during the COVID year, man. Like we kept pumping episodes out, and Lloyd and I both have had some shitty personal times in the last couple of years.
Yep.
But we both managed to get through it and do this, and it's always fun. So that's it. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there. If
you said all those names and all those podcasts, I can't believe that all those people listen to us, and we have that many friends through this podcast. It just blows me away.
Yeah, it's been a good thing. It's been a good thing. And I'm going to throw one last one out there because I just thought it goes with this 5th anniversary, and the idea of tonight was at Cult Classics the other night, Saturday night. I was talking to maybe Mike or Larry or somebody, just chatting with him. And a gentleman came over to me, and I've never met him before. And if I've met him, I didn't remember meeting him. And he said, "Hey man, I really love your show." And I shook his hand, and I thought, oh, I'm forgetting this guy. And I said, "Hey," I go, have we talked? And he's like, "No." He goes, my "My name is Bob." And I said, "I'm John." And he goes, "I know."
Yeah, I recognize you.
I recognize your voice. And he's like, your show like gets me through, my long commute and everything. And he walked away. And not to sound dumb, but like that blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw it out there, Bob. Thank you very much. You made me feel very good. And we'll keep churning them out. So I guess that's really it. We don't have to say much more. Again, I don't want to sound self-congratulatory, but 5 years, awesome.
Got it.
That's it. And we could barely ever do this either. But come back next week on the 26th of April. We're talking about aliens. So boom.
Alien Day.
That's right, Alien Day. Mike, thank you so much again. We appreciate you. We love you, man.
Thank you, Mike.
Great to be here, guys.
Yeah.
Happy to be here in your Big Five.
Big Five. The Big Five. All right,
5
Manster,
years.
say it.
See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.